Get some reaction to last night's NBA Finals. Celtics are the champs. I was wrong about that. We'll get into that. Plus, Phillies back on the winning track, but still got some questions with the Phils. After the game yesterday, before tonight's first pitch in about a half hour from now, we'll keep you updated on the Phils here on 97.3 ESPN. And we have a special guest coming up in about 20 minutes from now. Former Eagles pass rusher, linebacker Connor Barwin will be joining us. He has the Make the World Better Foundation and their pickleball tournament, which will be this Saturday in Sea Isle City. We'll talk with him about how he got started with the foundation and his vision for it. Plus, he had a job promotion with the Eagles recently. We'll ask him how that's going. So, all that and more here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. As always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. So let's get into some of the details of the Phillies here before we get to the Eagles and the NBA Finals. Because, look, I said this to Mike Gill earlier on the Sports Bash. I understand we're supposed to walk away from a win last night and be positive, but I do have a couple negative takeaways. Because last night, for as great of a win as it was, for all the positive vibes and positive feels that we all had, and I'm sure some of you out there at 609-403-0973 are going to roll your eyes at me and point your finger at me, tell me I'm being too negative with your DM through the 973 ESPN mobile app. Thanks to First Bank of Seattle. However you get a hold of the show, we thank you for listening wherever you're at. But the reality is that I am displeased with what we heard, what we saw yesterday from Brandon Marsh. And because of that, it's probably part of the reason why Brandon Marsh is now playing in left field tonight instead of center. But on a normal day, we would open the festivities of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill talking about how Brandon Marsh played some of the worst center field I've ever seen in my life. But instead, Mike Gill opens the show today talking about Kyle Schwarber hitting 2 home runs and Alec Boehm with 11 hits in his last 17 at-bats, right? And yes, we could talk about how Alec Boehm could be the key to getting this offense moving forward. We could talk about how Kyle Schwarber is heating up and making this team way better offensively, and how Rafael Marchand, should he be the starting catcher every day moving forward with the way he's playing? But I got to tell you guys, I can't get over how bad Brandon Marsh played in center field. And I'm hoping it was just a one-day issue, because he made 2 horrible misreads last night that, frankly, anyone who's a competent center fielder should have made. And, when we get back into the whole, what are the Phillies going to do with deadline? Who should they acquire? It's starting to look more and more like they need to get an outfielder, and an outfielder who might be able to play center field. Because if Brandon Marsh is that incompetent of a center fielder at this point, if he is going to make those kind of mistakes out there, he should not be playing out there at all. Now, again, I will say I understand people have bad days. Not everyone is perfect. He's not an elite center fielder in any sense. He's a good outfielder. But you literally, the day after, the Phillies gave you a message. They are saying, we saw the same thing that Josh Hennig saw. Brandon Marsh should not be playing in center field. They put Pache in center field. Marsh goes to left. And now for the Phils, we'll see how that changes everything. Because the whole reason why you sent Weston Wilson down and kept Dave Dahl was because you wanted to keep Dahl's bat in the lineup. Well, Dahl has cooled off extremely. He has gone from being a good story, David Dahl, to being, practically useless. And I hate saying it that way because the guy does have 2 home runs this year. But since he hit those 2 home runs, Dahl has struggled a lot. Batting 083. He can't get on base. He can't get a hit. And it's not as much as the strikeouts. He's just not making good contact. So it's looking like maybe the Phillies sent the wrong guy down to the minors. And if they sent the wrong guy down the minors, Weston Wilson, maybe they should not have sent Miguel Rojas down to bring up Turner. And now I'm starting to wonder if Rojas was here and you would have said, Dahl, thanks for being here, but we gotta keep Rojas up here. Maybe that game looks a little different yesterday. It's certainly something that I'm thinking about with the Phillies, because when you go into the deepest parts of the season, you need your guys to be able to field. You need you guys to go out there and be able to just make simple plays in the outfield. So I think that's a big part of the conversation with the Phillies moving forward. But we can't overlook the fact, which is the good news from yesterday, which is Alec Bohm is now the first Phillies player with 60 RBI through his first 70 games of a season since Raul Ibanez 15 years ago. Ever since they benched him for that one game, Alec Bohm has been on absolute fire, hitting home runs, getting RBI. This guy looks like a brand new man, and he had one day off, which makes me wonder, how is Castellanos not set for one game this year? Alec Bohm sits for one game. He comes out on fire the last few days. Castellanos keeps playing every day, and his bat looks horrible at times. So sports is a very strange thing. It's like, how do you bench one guy, but then the other guy keeps playing every day? So bizarre to me. But look, if I'm the Phillies, I don't know if I can play Marsh in center field anymore. And I have to strongly consider, how long do I keep Rojas in the minor leagues? Because if Dahl is not hitting, he loses his value. And you can't play Pache and Marsh every day and hope to get consistent production. I think the Phillies, at least my working theory, is they were hoping that guys like Sosa and Merrifield could eventually be the left fielders and Marsh could play center field. But the way the Marsh played yesterday, it makes you lose a lot of trust in him. I think that's a problem. Over on the text board, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Coming up in about 10 minutes from now, former Eagles linebacker Connor Barwin will join us to talk about his Make the World Better Foundation and fundraising event this Saturday in Sea Isle City. Over on the text board, I do want to get to this as well. George Summers Point chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, Josh, now that the Celtics have won the NBA title, how much of an ongoing threat do you see them being in the Eastern Conference for the next several years? Are they going to win multiple championships? That's from George in Summers Point. George, it's a very fair question, because it seems like the Celtics won a championship at the right place at the right time. I don't know if they win a title if they would have faced the Denver Nuggets or Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that this Celtics team is a good team, but I don't think they're an all-time team. I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine the other day. I don't think this current Celtics team is going to go down as one of the great Celtics teams of all time. I think that they are a team that were very fortunate to land Drew Holiday. He was a huge impact on their star players. And it's another sign that most NBA teams that are good, they're typically a player away from being a championship team. So for a team like the 76ers, for a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, for a team like the New York Knicks, who is their Drew Holiday? Who is their guy who's they're one piece away from being at that level? And I mentioned those three teams as well as the Indiana Pacers, because those are the four teams I think that could keep Boston from winning multiple championships. Philadelphia has a ton of cap space this offseason. They are going to be able to basically rebuild this team however they want. They do not have the same worries and concerns that teams usually have in this situation. So I think that Philadelphia is certainly going to be a threat if they can build the team correctly. On top of all of that, I look at I think the Knicks are a serious threat, and so are the Pacers. If you had to ask me who are the threats to the Celtics offseason, I think I put the Sixers, the Pacers, and the Knicks all ahead of the Bucks. I put the Bucks in there because they have Damian Lillard, they have Giannis, and if they can make some interesting moves offseason, maybe they could be a better team. Pacers got to the Eastern Conference Finals with basically just two players. If they could add one more, they could be a huge threat. And all the reports are that they are going to get this Pascal Siakam deal done very quickly. That's at least the reports out there about the Pacers and Siakam negotiations, that's not going to take long for them to lock him up. So once they lock him up, you are in a position to basically say, all right, who's the next guy that we can add? I think the Knicks are very fascinating because if they can maybe find a trade partner to take Julius Randle off their hands, they could add a very good player to add to Brunson and DiVincenzo and Hart and all those guys, because they certainly need another star caliber player. Maybe not a superstar per se, but a star caliber player who can complement Jalen Brunson. Brunson can't do it all by himself. And I think it's fair to say that Brunson will be back. You know, his injury was not earth-shattering, was not end of the world, right? So I do think it's very fair to think that the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Sixers, if they build this offseason correctly, they will stop Boston from winning titles. Because what's the one thing that Boston has a problem with? And that is, after their top players, they don't have a ton of depth. And because they've invested so much money and resources into Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis, and they also have Derek White, it's not like they have tons of guys after that. They have a lot of guys who did a great job of playing their role. But you could argue that if the Knicks were more healthy, do they make that a more difficult series for Boston? If the Pacers don't choke away a couple games, is that series a lot different for Boston? If the Miami Heat had Jimmy Butler, how is that series different for Boston? So, again, I'm not saying Boston's a bad team, but I think that Boston showed you last night that they've played a lot of teams that shot themselves in the foot, that were incapable of counterpunching what they were throwing. And so, at the end of the day, am I supposed to think Boston's unbeatable? No. I think that if teams like the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Sixers rebuild properly, and we'll throw the Bucks in there too, that they will all be problems for the Celtics to try to repeat next year. And I think that the Miami Heat, they're always a wild card because of Pat Riley and what they do with Jimmy Butler. But listen, there's a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference. I think Boston was fortunate they went to the NBA Finals in a season where they had so many guys who did get injured on their way to winning a championship. Doesn't negate them winning a championship, but it certainly negates my confidence in them winning it again next year. We'll check back at the text board coming up in just a bit. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Coming up on the other side, former Eagles linebacker Connor Barwin talks about his Make the World Better Foundation and his upcoming charity fundraising event in Seattle City. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging out with you on a Tuesday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small.
Can't wake up without it.
Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
The future is electric. The choice is yours at BMW of Atlantic City. Right now, lease a new 2024 BMW i4 eDrive 35 for $449 a month with $4,869 due at signing. Or a new 2024 i4 eDrive 40, lease for $449 a month with $5,679 due at signing. Both for 36 months and zero security deposit. A BMW of Atlantic City. Closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township. Online at bmwatlanticcity.com. Offers expire July 1st. For more details, call 609-316-2393.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Progressive asks, what do a middle school slumber party,
Let's stay up all night. Yeah.
a sleep-deprived girl, an early morning paper route, and a poorly thrown rolled-up newspaper have in common?
Hey, my window!
They can become a fast-breaking news story.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The Birds are heading to the Big Easy, and Philly Sports Trips is taking you along for the ride. Experience New Orleans like never before. Enjoy a 3-night stay at the luxurious JW Marriott, a welcome event steeped in soulful NOLA culture, and a Q&A with surprise guests. Join the boat cruise welcome party, pep rally with fellow Birds fans, and an all-inclusive tailgate before the Eagles take on the Saints at the Superdome. Optional round-trip flights and airport transfers available. Don't miss the music, fun, and magic of New Orleans. Book now at phillysportstrips.com.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Powered by the all-new BetParks New Jersey Casino and Sportsbook app. BetParks.com. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Trey Turner back in the lineup, but Johan Rojas sent down to AAA. I'm Nick Earnshaw with your South Jersey Sports Center and with your 97.3 ESPN question of the day. With Trey Turner returning to the lineup, the Phillies had to send someone down to AAA, and that was their 23-year-old center fielder, Johan Rojas. With Rojas being sent down, that got us thinking here at 97.3 ESPN. Was it a mistake to send Rojas back down to AAA in the minor leagues, and will it stunt his development? Let us know by texting 609-403-0973 or use the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. In my estimation, I don't believe it was a mistake to send Johan Rojas back down to AAA because he needs to figure himself out at the plate. He's got to get his glove a little bit better, back to where it was last year, and he has to fix the mental mistakes on the base pass. Let us know again by texting 609-403-0973. Your forecast is next.
New Jersey is leading the nation in clean energy investments with one thing in mind: you. Save money while saving the planet. New Jersey's Clean Energy Program is a statewide program that offers incentives, programs, and services that benefit New Jersey residents, businesses, education, government, and nonprofit entities to help us all save energy, money, and the environment. Discover how you can start saving today and help ensure a cleaner future. Visit njcleanenergy.com to see what New Jersey's Clean Energy Program can do for you. A message from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Not only is it hot, but there's little to no rain in the forecast either. Tonight will be mainly clear. Not bad. Low temperature will dip to around 69 degrees. Tomorrow we'll see 90s inland, 80 at the beaches, just like today. Partly sunny, hot, and dry. Even hotter on Thursday, mostly sunny, 88. 90 on Friday with partly to mostly cloudy skies and a slight chance of a pop-up shower. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how happy and healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan.
Their jaws are more flexible, their teeth are cleaner, and their coats shinier, and why they seem more youthful even as they age.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. I've helped countless dogs thrive with one simple concept. Your dog needs a high-meat diet similar to what their ancestors ate in the wild.
Dr. Marty created Nature's Blend using 50 years of nutritional research and experience, helping dogs make incredible turnarounds. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of Cod Krispies, their wild-caught, ultra-crunchy cod skin treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal. All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennick on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
We'll get back to text board in just a minute. 609-403-0973. Your TNs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Safe right now, joining us as promised on the phone, former Eagles linebacker Connor Barwin. The Make the World Better Foundation pickleball tournament and fundraising event this Saturday in Seattle. So you get all that more. Connor joins us right now here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Connor, welcome into the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I appreciate you jumping on. So let's get into the details because obviously, what you guys are doing this Saturday, the pickleball tournament throughout the year, you're raising money for your foundation. Tell people, what is the genesis of the Make the World Better Foundation?
Yeah, thanks. First of all, thank you for having me on. Thanks for coming out and broadcasting from the tournament in Seattle. But the Make the World Better Foundation, I started over 10 years ago when I started playing for the Eagles. We worked directly with communities to add and rebuild their public space. So it's pretty much building playgrounds in neighborhoods with the community. I've been doing it for 10 years. And we're currently working at Bear Rec Center in Prairie, Southwest Philly. Bring out my $20 million project, which we've been working on the last few years, which I'm really proud of and excited about.
Was there, as a professional athlete, Connor, was there like a moment as a professional athlete where you realized what you could do, how you could help people? Like, was there kind of like a eureka moment for you?
No, not really. I got drafted to feel this. I mean, the huge thing. I watched for 4 years how some of my peers tried to do things in the community, some successful, some not successful. That was really where I learned a lot. And then when I got to Philly, they gave me a good contract, and I decided I want to make this my home. And I'm so lucky to play in Philly and play for these fans. I felt like I should do something to try to get back to the community. And it's honestly been a learning. I've been learning the whole time for the last 10 years about how to do this, how to get things done in Philly, how to do it the right way, and how to make it better. So it's sort of, we've been learning together with the communities this whole time.
Of course, folks can donate if they can make it out this Saturday in Seattle City at mtwd.org/donate, where the folks can donate if they can't make it out to the pickleball tournament this Saturday. Connor, I got to know, though, why pickleball?
It's a great sport, obviously. This Jesse Randell is our executive director. He spent a ton of time at the shore because I've been here a while now. I've spent some time at the shore in the summer, and we've always done concerts, right? We've done the MTWP benefit show since it's been around. They're usually in the fall or sometime in the summer, and Jesse was like, hey, people at the shore, we need to sort of tap into what's happening at the shore. And as people know, Sea Isle has these great pickleball courts. So, we have some members of our board that live in Sea Isle. They got in contact with the city, sort of decided to put this whole thing together last year. It was awesome. It was really successful. And so we went back this year. We sort of doubled our fundraising goals, doubled the amount of teams involved. They're really excited about it. It just feels like a great way to sort of engage with people at the shore during the summer, and just bring people together to have fun and raise, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000.
Talking with former Eagles linebacker Connor Barwin here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. To make the world better, pickleball tournament is this Saturday in Seattle City. Of course, they will be having check-ins after 11 a.m. this Saturday. Connor, you are not originally from the Philadelphia area, but like a lot of athletes who have come to Philadelphia, you end up staying in the region. So for you, what led you to want to stay in the Philadelphia area and now end up working with the Eagles organization?
For me, it's pretty simple. If you love sports, you care about sports, there's no better place to live than Philadelphia. I mean, I'm literally like in a corner at the Phillies game talking to you because I'm at the Phillies game with my wife, my 6-year-old, and my 3-year-old because it's summer in Philadelphia. There's no better place to be right now. So that's why I'm here. I think Philly's an incredible city. I think, MTWP and what we're doing, we're really doing some special stuff. And we've been able to work with some great people. And I love working for the Eagles. I love working for what I think is the best organization, best owners, best GMs. I had a good career. I lost in the playoffs in 17 playing for the 1 year I played for the Rams. So I'm still searching for that Lombardi trophy. Hopefully, I can be a part of that.
You mentioned the Eagles organization. A lot of people always ask the question, what makes the Eagles organization different? So for you, as someone who was originally with the Houston Texans and came to Philadelphia, if I remember correctly, you played a year with the Rams and a year with the Giants. You played with a couple different teams. So what makes Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Rose, and the Philadelphia Eagles organization unique?
That's a big question, but I honestly think because of the city and the fans, because there's no time to ever sort of rebuild or to sort of be mediocre. Like you need to be all in all the time, and that's because the city demands it, right? And I think that's what pushes the Eagles and everybody in the organization to constantly be trying to improve and be better, just because the fans will hold you accountable for that.
Now, for those who don't know, you are working, as you said, with the Eagles organization. Your title currently is Head of Football Development Strategy. So, Connor, for the person out there who says, what on earth does that mean? What does Connor Barwin's job with the Eagles entail?
It's just what I told you. I'm not a spokesperson anymore, so I don't really publicly talk about the team. But I work with our young guys, work with our coaches, I work with our office. So really, it's trying to we collaborate at a high level with everybody in the organization, continually try to get better, make sure our players are supported and doing what they need, but also, push to get better at all times, being pushed to be successful.
So, with that in mind, if you just give the audience an idea. So, like, for example, what is the difference between when you first came into the league, right? When you came in with the Houston Texans back, what was it, 2009, right? So when you came into the league, what is the difference between what you experienced back then and let's say what like young players are experiencing now coming to the NFL?
I would say, at a high level, it's not much different. When I came in the league, it was incredibly competitive. You needed to be a great teammate. You needed to be a great player. You had to get a little bit lucky. And that's how you lasted for a long time in this league. And that's still true today, right? I think, for me, the rules are different. The game is much safer than it was 15 years ago when I came into the league, with concussions and all that kind of stuff. I give Roger Goodell in the league a lot of credit for. And then there's of course, more support, more engagement with the fans than there was when I first got in the league, because of social media and all that stuff. But I think it's all great. But more or less, people try to make it seem like it's much different than it was 15 years ago. It's still guys working their tails off. If you're not a really good player that puts people respect, a really good teammate, and you can perform on Sundays, you're not going to make it.
Kind of, Barb, before I let you go, before you get back to the Phillies game, I know they get ready to have first pitch momentarily. If there was one thing you want folks out there to know about the Make the World Better Foundation, if there was one takeaway they could have from our conversation, what would that be?
Well, I'd first say thank you to everybody that's playing this weekend. It's Saturday. It starts at noon. It quickly sold out, but they want to come to the Ludlam Bar and Grill. The owner is opening it for our special after party. Tickets are $50. It's all you can eat and drink. I think that starts at 4 or 5 o'clock. So Ludlam Bar and Grill, if anybody's at the store this weekend and wants to come hang out, there'll be some former players, current players. It'll just be a lot of fun and raises money for MTWB. At the end of the day, MTWB is just trying to build parks the right way, and the right way is building it with people that actually use those parks. So taking their advice to build what they actually want to see happen.
Well, Connor, I love what you guys are doing. I look forward to seeing the pickleball tournament in person this Saturday morning down in Seattle State Pickleball Courts. Appreciate you jumping on and go enjoy the Phillies game with your family, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And of course, don't forget, if you can't make it out this Saturday to Seattle City, go to mtwb.org/donate, where you can also contribute to the Make the World Better Foundation. As Connor mentioned, I will be in Seattle City this Saturday with Billy Schweim in the locker room here on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, everybody knows that Seattle has a special place in my heart because because when my family and I moved from the Philadelphia down to South Jersey, almost my entire family went to Sea Isle. So I've basically been in and around Sea Isle for a huge chunk of my life. So, obviously, I'm very. What's funny about Sea Isle and pickleball courts, real quick, is that when I was younger, pickleball courts were not there. Okay, when you go back to the '90s, those pickleball courts were not there. It was just empty lots. So it's it's really nice to see that the town has actually done something with some of the empty lots in the town by putting up pickleball courts down on 42nd Place in Seattle City. So congratulations to Connor Barwin. You heard Jesse Randell was mentioned there. Make the World Better Foundation. They've already sold a pickleball tournament itself, but you can still come out and donate to the foundation, be a part of their efforts this Saturday in Seattle City. So the after party will be at around 4 o'clock at the Ludlam Bar and Grill over. That's on the corner of JFK Boulevard and Landis Avenue. So I'll be down there with Billy Schwein in the locker room as well, starting at 10 a.m. to noon. We'll be broadcasting live leading up to the pickleball tournament. So you can still go out, even if you don't play the pickleball tournament, go check out the people who are playing, donate to the foundation, all that good stuff in Seattle Saturday. So again, it's just to go get it. If you didn't make it to Seattle Saturday, go to mtwb.org/donate. And I think one of the points that Connor brought up I thought was very interesting is that when I asked him about what makes the Philadelphia Eagles different, right, than the other organizations he played for, because again, he mentioned he was drafted by the Houston Texans. And so you would think that he would have like a special place in his heart for the organization that drafted him. He didn't play there for 1 year. He played there for multiple years. And so it's not like he was a guy who was like, oh man, I have to be in Philadelphia. No, he could have very well gone back to his home city of Detroit. Or he could have gone back to the University of Cincinnati. Went to college, the same college as Jason and Travis Kelce. So Connor Barwin did not have to stay in Philadelphia. But I thought it was very poignant when he said about how what makes the Eagles different is that the fans. He says the fans have such an impact on the organization. The organization has taken a position. You've heard him say it, that they don't rebuild. They reload, basically. But to paraphrase what he said, that the organization of the Philadelphia Eagles, because they know the type of fans they have, because they know the type of city, the city of Philadelphia, they know that they're not going to be an organization that goes out there and doesn't make sure that the people put the best team on the field. You cannot be a Philadelphia organization and put a trash team on the field. And I think it's very enlightening point by Connor because the fans make a difference. And it just goes to show you, guys out there listening on 97.3 ESPN, we are the home of the Philadelphia Eagles here in South Jersey. Here every Eagles game with Merrill Reese going into his 48th season calling games. The Mike Quick on the call right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. You know the Eagles organization, they are not a content organization. They are not we made the playoffs. That's good. We sold some tickets. They don't have that mentality. And when you don't have that mentality, Connor says that is unique, that is special, that is different. And he's not saying, hey, let me tell you, the Houston Texans don't care about winning. He's not saying the Rams or the Giants don't care about winning. But what he's saying is what differentiates Philadelphia is it's not just the fans and their passion, it's the organization's response to that passion. And if you ask a Giants fan, if you ask a Jets fan, they're not going to have the same positive vibe with their organization as an Eagles fan would. You ask a Houston Texans fan, you ask a Los Angeles Rams fan, if there are any Los Angeles Rams fans, that they don't have that same vibe and personality from the organization the Eagle fan does. And I think that sometimes we overlook how fortunate, how almost spoiled Eagle fans are. I mean, there are organizations that can't win playoff games, that can't make the postseason year in and year out. Nick Sirianni has gotten the postseason 3 straight years. Doug Peterson also made the postseason for 3 straight years. Chip Kelly made the postseason in his first year in Philadelphia. Andy Reid got this organization to 5 NFC championship games. The Eagles have done all of this, and the Cowboys can't even get to an NFC championship game. Washington can't get to an NFC championship game in a couple decades. The Giants, yeah, they won 2 Super Bowls this century, but they haven't done much since. I mean, the Giants have won, 1 or 2 playoff games in the last decade? Like, it's wild that we don't always appreciate how much this organization, owner Jeffrey Lurie and general manager Howie Roseman, and the entire organization from top to bottom has invested in winning. And you heard Connor say, hey, it's what's different. The fans demand more, and the organization doesn't say, we'll try. They say yes, right? Howie Roseman could have come out after last season and say, hey, we had a bad year. We'll try to do better. No, Howie Roseman said, we are going to be better because we fired almost our entire coaching staff. We are going to be better because we went out and got Saquon Barkley and CJ Garner-Johnson. Not every organization does that. Jerry Jones told the media the Cowboys are all in this offseason. The only thing the Cowboys were all in on is not doing a lot this offseason. The biggest news of the Cowboys offseason was they lost people. Their defensive coordinator goes to Washington, becomes their head coach. They lose 2 starters on the offensive line. They lose a key rotation player on the defensive line. They didn't do almost anything to improve that team. They lost Tony Pollard, their number 1 running back from last year. They didn't upgrade the offensive line in front of Dak Prescott. They didn't build a better receiving core around their franchise quarterback. But they say they're all in. That's fugazi. That's fake. That's a fraud. That's who the Cowboys are. Meanwhile, you heard Connor Barwin say, Eagle fans ask for more. And they use the Star Wars term, they do not try, they do. Remember Yoda used to say, no try. You do something. You don't try to do it. You just do it. And I think it's very fair to say that the Eagles have tried to follow that principle. And it's part of the reason why they won a Super Bowl in 2017. It's a big part of the reason why they got to a Super Bowl 2 years ago. And it's a huge reason why this organization went out and overhauled this coaching staff this offseason, because when the Eagle fans demand more, the organization doesn't tell them we will try. They do something about the problem. Josh Hennick hanging out with you. Get back to text board on the other side, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea City. Josh Hennick hanging out with you on a Tuesday night on 97.3 ESPN.
Hi, this is Billy Schwein from The Locker Room. Join me and Josh Hennick on Saturday, June 22nd, as we broadcast live from 10 a.m. to noon in Sea City for Connor Barwin's Make the World Better Pickleball Tournament.
The Locker Room with Billy Schwein's live broadcast is being brought to you by Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company of Sea City, offering online ordering and in-person seafood market located at 4111 Landis Avenue. McCann Realtors of Sea City, serving home buyers and vacationers with knowledge and experience since 1939. Bright Spot Cafe, located at the corner of Landis Avenue and 40th Street, open for breakfast and lunch with farm-to-table food 7 days a week all summer long. Come out and support Connor Barwin's Make the World Better Foundation at the Sea City Pickleball Court on 42nd Place.
It's a Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon for Connor Barwin's Make the World Better Pickleball Tournament on 97.3 ESPN.
The Birds are heading to the Big Easy, and Philly Sports Trips is taking you along for the ride. Experience New Orleans like never before. Enjoy a 3-night stay at the luxurious JW Marriott, a welcome event steeped in soulful Lola culture, and a Q&A with surprise guests. Join the boat cruise welcome party, pep rally with fellow Birds fans, and an all-inclusive tailgate before the Eagles take on the Saints at the Superdome. Optional round-trip flights and airport transfers available. Don't miss the music, fun, and magic of New Orleans. Book now at phillysportstrips.com.
Hey, Mike Gill here. Upgrade your outdoor look for summer with my friends at Progressive Fence and Railing. Whether it's adorable fence, glass, or cable railing, new shed, stylish deck, beautiful awning, or serene gazebo, check out Progressive's Spring Special. 20% off materials and a 4-year warranty extension, plus finance options that fit your budget. Privacy protection perfection. Grab your free estimate today. Visit ProgressiveFenceandRail.com.
ProgressiveFenceandRail.com. Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines, guides in the know. When price is so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
The seafood extraordinary, the value tremendous, the sunsets on the house. It's Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant. Dine indoors or on the deck overlooking the bay. The Phillies are always on at Yuri's. Watch the game and enjoy daily food and drink specials, including all-you-can-eat crab backed by popular demand. Yuri's is perfect for families with a kids menu and arcade. Next door to Yuri's is the Boathouse Restaurant. 2 great ways to experience the Jersey Shore's best waterfront dining. Yuri's and the Boathouse at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how happy and healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan.
Their jaws are more flexible, their teeth are cleaner, and their coats shinier, and why they seem more youthful even as they age.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. I've helped countless dogs thrive with one simple concept. Your dog needs a high-meat diet similar to what their ancestors ate in the wild.
Dr. Marty created Nature's Blend using 50 years of nutritional research and experience, helping dogs make incredible turnarounds. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of Cod Krispies, their wild-caught, ultra-crunchy cod skin treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
With GMF financing to qualified buyers excludes Corvette, excludes prior sales.
Don't buy a car anywhere until you hear this. Bennett Chevy must sell 200 vehicles immediately. So right now, brand new Chevys are on sale at the GM supplier employee price. That's right, you pay what we pay. Plus, you keep all the rebates, saving you as much as 10% off MSRP. You heard right, you get both GM supplier employee prices, plus you get all the rebates up to 10% off MSRP. And because Bennett must move 200 new and used vehicles, we'll give you a minimum $10,000 for any rotted out old clunker, even if it was on fire. Yes, a minimum 10 grand for any clunker towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. These are real deals you won't get anywhere else but Bennett Chevy. So you must hurry for best selection. With deals like this, nobody beats a Bennett deal, and I mean nobody. Together, let's drive at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get $50 in gift cards good for use at JoJo's Italian Grill, Egg Harbor Township for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at SeizeTheDeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to SeizeTheDeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com.
Now, more Game Night with 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
By the way, shout out to the texter who got me the exact correct Star Wars phrasing. Yoda said, "Do or do not, there is no try." So obviously I completely inverted the actual thing, which is not surprising the way my day is going today. I mean, today's one of those days where you realize that you are not a perfect human being. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yes, the term is do or do not, there is no try. And let's be honest, that is what the Eagles do. They do or they don't. They don't try. That's the truth of who the Philadelphia Eagles have operated as in the last several years. And you could argue that the Phillies have followed a similar model. They have part of the reason why they ran it back with almost the entire same roster as last year was because I think they realized in a similar way to the Eagles did that a lot of the problems this team had last year was not necessarily how do I phrase this? It wasn't the players stink, right? It's the idea that a lot of times when teams make changes to rosters, they make those changes because the players on the roster are just not good, right? And I think that's a huge part of this conversation. It's the idea that if you are the Phillies or the Eagles, you're not looking at Bryce Harper and AJ Brown saying you're the problem. If you're the Phillies and the Eagles, you're not looking at Zach Wheeler and Ranger Suarez, or in the Eagles case, Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson, let's say, and saying you're the problem, right? The organization, the Eagles obviously added more this offseason than the Phillies did their offseason, but the idea is kind of the same, which is we are building something. And in order for us to build what we want to build, in order for us to have what we want to have, we need to run it back with the players that we know who are good. And we got to change out who the real problem is. And the Phillies and the Eagles have determined that the problems are not who maybe the fans feel they are. The fan might say Kyle Schwarber shouldn't be the leadoff hitter, but yet the Phillies have a 60% winning percentage when he is the leadoff hitter. The fan may say Nick Sirianni is an idiot, but yet the organization would say, yeah, but you got the 3 straight postseasons with Nick Sirianni as the head of that. How much of an idiot is he? So it's the idea that, they are they are doing what they think is necessary instead of trying to do what is necessary to win. I think that has to do with a lot of this. Now, I understand some of you may say, well, the Sixers don't follow that model. And that's very fair to say because the Sixers have operated with multiple general managers, multiple different visions in, the last several years. And you're hoping, and I say hoping for a reason, they are hoping that this offseason can be the year that they recalibrate this roster. And I don't think the answer necessarily is Paul George, right? But if they were bringing up Paul George, he marginally makes them better. What can we learn from the Boston Celtics winning a championship? Well, we learned from the Boston Celtics that you need a good supporting cast to complement your best players. And the third guy has to be a potential all-star. It can't just be an also-ran player like Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry and Kelly Oubre cannot be your third and fourth best players. You need somebody more than that. Now, I don't know if it is Paul George. To me, I don't think it is. I think Paul George, I think he's a little past his prime. He's a little overrated, right? He's not a guy who has shown himself to be, a guy that you depend on consistently in the postseason anymore. When he was with the Pacers, he was the megastar. He was the catalyst. He was the linchpin for their success. As he has gotten older, Paul George has developed into a contributor instead of a centerpiece of an organization. Now, would he be willing to take on the role that he would in Philadelphia? Or would he demand the ball? Would he be willing to pass the ball? Would he be willing to be part of a championship and not be a centerpiece of a championship? Those are two different roster constructions. The other part we learned from the Celtics winning the championship is what games did the Celtics lose or almost lose? When teams like the Pacers and the Cavaliers and the Mavericks all threw athletes at them to disrupt them, then their offense, it worked. The Sixers need more freak athletes, and Paul George does not fall into that category. Klay Thompson does not fall into that category. The Sixers need some freakish athletes, for lack of a better term, to go out there and just be like, hey, we're going to slow down Tatum. We're going to slow down Jaylen Brown. We're going to make life difficult for Drew Holiday. And we're going to maybe throw an elbow in the Porzingis' ribs a little bit. You know what I mean? And I don't know if the Sixers have always built their teams that way in recent years. Now, hopefully that'll change. Because when you look at the potential free agents, you have guys like Nick Claxton out there. Would Nick Claxton be willing to come to Philadelphia and play into that role that they need him to do? I know Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a player option. Does he opt out of that option? And could he come to Philadelphia and be part of a championship-winning team? He does have 2 rings himself, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, one with the Denver Nuggets and one with the Los Angeles Lakers. Miles Bridges has had some issues off the court, but he is a freak athlete. Could he come to Philadelphia and buy into the system? Malik Monk, would he buy into this system? Bruce Brown, he has a team option. Does he hit the free agent market? I'm assuming you bring back Nicholas Batum. I assume you bring back Kelly Oubre, but they cannot be the 3rd and 4th best players on this team. I think the Sixers would be at their best if Kelly Oubre was the 4th or 5th best player. I think they would be at their best if a guy like Nicholas Batum was coming off the bench more often than not. One of the problems with the Sixers was Tobias Harris was a failure. Okay, if we're just being honest, Tobias Harris failed as a basketball player. He was unable to be what he said he was. Tobias Harris described himself as a double-double guy who can hit threes, get rebounds, and play defense. And there were many games where he did none of those things and was an invisible player on the floor, basically collecting a paycheck. So if you're Philadelphia, whoever you bring in has to not just be better than Kelly Oubre and Nicholas Batum, but they also can't be someone who shrinks in the biggest moments of the season and in playoff games. Daryl Morey said it best. He said, we need someone who can be productive in the playoffs. Well, that's not everybody who's a free agent. Frankly, it's not even everybody who the fans want. And unless you're trading for a Jimmy Butler, I don't see a scenario where some of these guys who are free agents are fulfilling that role. And frankly, I'm not still convinced that Klay Thompson doesn't go back to Golden State Warriors. It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Sixers. Can the Sixers be more like the Eagles and Phillies and break this, for lack of a better term, this curse that's on the franchise, what it seems like, for the last several years, where they keep building teams that are good enough to be in the postseason, but not good enough to get them beyond a certain point. Thanks again to Connor Barwin for joining the show. He's at the Phillies games. The Phillies are tied 0-0 right now in the bottom of the first with the Padres. We'll see if they can keep the good times rolling with the wins. Alec Boehm currently at bat. Alec Boehm was batting .307. What an incredible year for that guy. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great everybody.
You have the choice. Whether it's going out to dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique, those choices help to put money back into your community. Town Square Media South Jersey proudly puts a spotlight on local businesses.
First Bank of Sea Isle City, Cape May County's community bank. Philly Marble and the Philly Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. Visit phillymarble.com. Jenkins Plumbing and Heating. Call Jenkins for heating and air conditioning installation, service and maintenance, plumbing, or drain cleaning service. 609-641-6440 or JenkinsPlumbingandHeating.com. The Nizams, authentic Indian cuisine. They are waiting to serve you. Dr. Lyle M. Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to ILoveLyleBack.com. And J&M Elite Contractors Roofing and Siding. Check out their great reviews at jmelitecontractors.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses from Town Square Media, South Jersey.